Forget what you think you know. Seriously, forget the TV shows, forget the speeches from politicians. You want to understand how power really works? Not in some fancy boardroom, but where the walls are made of steel and the only currency that matters is desperation. Well, then you better listen closely. This isn't a lecture. I'm handing you the keys to the kingdom.
See, that's my entire philosophy right there. It's the first thing you have to get in your head. The state, they give you a title, a uniform, and a heavy set of keys. They think they're hiring a zookeeper. But what they've really done is they've handed you the deed to a private enterprise. And the best part? A guaranteed customer base. A very captive market.
So the very first thing we do, we take that employee handbook and we toss it. All that talk about public service and rehabilitation, it's just noise. It's fluff for the annual reports, you know? To truly run this place, you have to completely change your perspective. You are not a public servant. You're a CEO. And this isn't a prison. It's your own private economy.
Over on the left, that's the fantasy we sell to the taxpayers. Rehabilitation? It's a joke. I mean, the recidivism rates prove that day in and day out. We're not reforming anyone, we're managing assets. Public safety? All that means is keeping them inside and keeping the inspectors out. My personal security, now that's a whole other story. And justice? Justice is a word for judges. Inside these walls, the only thing that matters is leverage.
Okay, so you've got the right mindset. You see the game board for what it really is. Now, how do you make sure you're the one who owns all the properties? Well, it all comes down to architecture. You have to build a foundation of absolute, total control. All the profit? That's just a nice little side effect of a well-built structure.
It's really just a simple three-legged stool. First, you don't need all the guards, just the right ones. And with starting pay barely above fast food, trust me, it's not hard to find guys who understand a good side hustle. Second, you use the inmate power structure that's already there. You don't crush the gangs. No. You make their leaders your floor managers. And third, you become the sole source of truth. Every single report, every statistic that goes to head office, it all flows through you.
Let's dig into owning the guards for a second. You need to find your key holders. Now, this isn't just some guard who looks the other way. This person is your logistics chief. They get that their job isn't to enforce the state's rules, but to facilitate the real ones. They're the ones who know which supply closets are camera blind spots and which delivery trucks get a pass during inspection. They are your middle management. All right, once your foundation of control is rock solid, it's time to build the business. You see, power for its own sake is a total waste of time. Power is a tool, and it's a tool to generate revenue. This place, this supposed beacon of justice, is about to become the most profitable, unregulated marketplace you've ever seen.
Let's take a look at the books. It's really beautiful when you think about it. Take contraband. Your investment is what? A small monthly bonus to your key holder? Your return? You can sell a single cigarette for $5. You do the math. Parole for sale, now that's a delicate one. But influencing a report or misplacing a disciplinary file, that can earn you a very grateful friend on the outside. And inmate labor? Oh, the state loves those cheap contracts. You just skim a nice percentage for administrative fees. It's baked right into the system.
I mean, just look at these margins, 1,500% on instant coffee. You hear them complain about commissary prices? That's amateur hour. In here, there is no competition. There is only my supply. And when you control the entire market, well, you can set any price you damn well please. And believe me, my customers are always motivated buyers.
Now listen, any fool can get rich. A lot of fools do. But they all have this nasty habit of getting caught. The real art isn't in making the money. It's in making the money disappear. It's in running a criminal enterprise inside a state facility and getting accommodation for it at the end of the year. That is the art of invisibility.
These are my commandments. You follow them, and you'll retire very well. Violence is bad for business. It brings investigators, so you keep the reported violence low. That shiv in the yard, an accidental fall in the workshop. Your official paperwork, it has to be a work of art, a perfect fiction for the auditors. The idealists, you promote them to positions where they can't see a thing. Every few months, you stage a big, phony crackdown for the cameras. And most important of all, never get arrogant. Pride is what sends men like me to prisons like mine.
So, you've done it all, right? The machine is running perfectly, the money is flowing in, you're a ghost. But there is always one threat. One vulnerability in every system like this, and it's not an FBI raid. It's not an inmate riot.
So what is it? What's the one thing you can't control?
That person. The one who actually believes the nonsense in the employee handbook. The one who sees a bribe not as an opportunity, but as an insult. They are the wrench in the gears. You can't threaten them, you can't buy them. All you can do is try to neutralize them. Bury them in paperwork, transfer them to the graveyard shift, build a file until they finally quit. They are the single greatest threat to your whole operation because they don't play by your rules.
So there you have it, the whole playbook. From philosophy to execution to risk management, the masterclass is almost over. But I'll leave you with the one piece of wisdom that this entire operation is built on, the little secret the system will never, ever admit about itself.
Never, ever forget that. The state, the public, they don't actually care what happens in here. They just want plausible deniability. As long as nobody escapes and the 6 o'clock news stays away, the budget gets approved. What happens inside these walls, well, that's just a private matter. That is your business.
So, this has been one Warden's playbook. Sure, it's a fictional composite, but it's one built from the real-world mechanics of corruption. The contraband rings, the exploitation of labor contracts, the manipulation of official reports, these aren't fantasies. They're the subjects of real federal investigations and news exposés every single year. And that leaves us with a pretty sobering question, doesn't it? How many institutions meant for public safety are actually operating on a private, unspoken set of rules